Breakfast is not just about what is in your plate. It is what is in your ears. Start your day with the People's Breakfast Show, the show that is packed with everything you need. News, sports, newspapers headlines review, trending issues, political and economic headlines, a whole lot more. Don't eat alone. Have breakfast with us. People's 105.5 FM. It's all about you.
We educate, we entertain. We are the People's 105.5 FM, Abuja.
All right, welcome back. Before that break, I told you we'll be having a conversation on the effects of vandalism in the Nigerian electricity supply industry. It's something very pertinent, something that concerns all of us, and I need you to pay 100% attention. Yes, earlier I did tell you that joining us to have a conversation on this issue is Engineer Dr. Jonathan Okoronkwo, who is the Head Health, Safety and Environment at the Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission, NERC. All right, he's live in the studio. He's been in the building for a while, but right now he's live in the studio to talk to us. Engineer Jonathan Okoronkwo, good morning. Great to have you.
Thank you so very much, and good morning, Nigerians.
All right, the first question I was going to ask you was a very obvious one, a question that I guess is a no-brainer. Looking at what's happening around us, like I was going to ask you, like, why is vandalism such a big issue? Like, why is it a challenge in the Nigerian electricity industry? But in the updates we had this morning, reports came in that a suspected vandal was actually found under the rubble of a collapsed transmission tower along the 330 kV Ughelli Benin line in Delta State. That's according to a statement by the Transmission Company of Nigeria, TCN, which was released on Saturday. And the linesmen who were inspecting what happened discovered the body mangled in between the towers that collapsed, and it was actually during an intensive line patrol which was conducted by the Delta Sub-Regional Lines Maintenance Department. After that line tripped, that's the fancy word for saying it fell, and then the victim's body was found between the tower members, which means he was between them when it came down. And they said that was tower 101 on the right side. The corresponding tower 101 on the other side, someone had already fiddled with them, but somehow miraculously was still standing. But the truth is, with this tower coming down, wherever line it is supplying, darkness, and they'll be saying, NEPA has killed us. So meanwhile, they do not know that it is actually vandals doing this. So, Okoronkwo, talk to us. I mean, like, tell us the kind of headache vandalism is causing in the electricity supply chain in Nigeria.
Vandalism is a huge masquerade, and not only in Nigeria, all over the world. It's a deliberate destruction, damage, misuse of properties, or just like you are referring to in the electricity sector, people intentionally go to carry out this kind of sabotage. Like the issue you referred to, the commission received that information over the weekend, and the vandal in this case had already decoupled the 101. I was about decoupling this when it fell on him. Now, it's a deliberate action, and for whatever purpose is not known, and that is why the commission have put up a team to carry out a sensitization program across the 6 geopolitical zones in the country to unravel. Because from what we are getting from stakeholders, from region to region, the intentions are different.
They differ.
Okay. Some intentionally wants to go sell at the market.
Yeah.
They normally call it pantekas.
Yeah.
Now, unsuspected buyers.
Because like these towers now, these are steel.
They are steel.
And steel costs a lot
of money.
And we've heard also that sometimes the people who buy this thing, I'll say, are even a bigger part of the problem, because once they buy them, they melt them.
They melt it.
And so even if you come there, you can't see the tower to know it got there.
It's a huge business. And the funny thing, you go to other regions, it's an act of terrorism.
Yeah, like in the northeast, northwest axis.
You go to some other regions, it's sabotage.
They just want to
create
wahala for everybody.
The government. Now, and that is why we are gathering this information. We are working closely with the Office of the National Security Advisor, and but because it's a sensitive security issue, the commission felt, and in agreement with the ONSA, let us finish this sensitization program, gather all the information. Now we can sit down with them and start discussing the outcomes, and directly whether we are going to deploy technology, we are going to deploy security, whatever thing we are going to deploy will now be agreed, in unison with the Office of the National Security Advisor.
For deterrence and detection, possible prosecution.
Exactly. No, in some regions, like the one we just finished for the Southeast, the Abia State Regulatory Authority, ASERA, have already set up a mobile court.
Okay.
So once you are caught, you are going to the mobile court, you'll be charged immediately, and there to the prison. So, but some other regions we did in the Southwest, the commissioners, they all agreed that this is an act of sabotage, and they have to set up their vigilante group to start going after them.
You've almost jumped the gun with this, because we're going to ask what communities, individuals can do, but there are sometimes we hear allegations that insiders within the industry are also aiding this, because as I just can't climb any tower and start doing anything. Someone has to have some level of expertise and knowledge to be able to do this. Is NERC and the entire industry players are they also looking at the ways of ensuring that people who are supposed to be the ones moving this industry forward are also not sabotaging it from within? Let's not also be looking at the rats outside. The rats on the inside could also be eating the bag of rice from the inside.
I may not allude to that because we've not actually gotten any feedback on that. But from the research we have done in South Africa, there was a news that some members of some staff of their transmission or distribution network were caught in the acts. Okay. Inspiring these people to carry out these acts. But in Nigeria, I don't think
it doesn't look like it's a prevalent problem.
No. It's just a kind of isolated issue.
Okay.
Because nationwide, like I said, even in the UK, there's sabotage, there's vandalism.
Sure.
In US, but it's the magnitude we are now looking at.
Yeah.
But in Nigeria, I don't think, because it's a new market, and everybody in the market is anxious to see this market grow.
Yeah.
So I don't think any person will want to be part of this kind of shameful, deliberate attitude of pulling down these towers, or even pulling down the strengths and the rest of them. But however, it may not be ruled out. So we need to continue the momentum until such will be reviewed. And once it's reviewed, definitely to be dealt with. Commission is not relenting on it. And one thing with the commission is that they are head on. This present committee, they are head on. And since 2017, they have not relented in ensuring discipline in the market. Discipline in the market. They have done enough. If not, we could not have had a decision market in the country.
Yeah, true.
They have done enough, and they have repositioned the market for prosperity.
Now, every equipment in the electricity supply chain has value.
Exactly.
I'm running away from saying expensive.
Huge.
Right from the transmission stations to the wire that terminates at the consumers.
Distribution.
So when these things are vandalized, they have to be replaced.
Of course.
For instance, this tower that collapsed along the Ughelli line will be replaced.
Exactly.
Does this in any way gets the cost of replacing these things? Does it anyway get plowed back to those of us who are at the consumption end?
I'm telling you,
someone has to pay for it. So do we end up paying for it somehow?
I'm telling you, the feedback we got from the last program we did for the Southeast, TCN has spent almost the same amount of money of doing a new line to replace the old ones. Imagine, we are talking about electricity access.
Yeah.
And let me tell you, you see, the regulator, we lose sleep thinking on how to make Nigerians have electricity access. Having electricity access is basic, in provision of amenities.
Yeah.
Now we have at the commission made multi-tier electricity markets, whereby the states now have the power to regulate their own electricity. Why are we doing this? We are doing it because we want power to get to the grassroots.
Yeah.
Now, when people now go and start vandalizing these things, that aim will be defeated. See, I will give you a typical example. You see, Umuahia Banana 132 transmission line have been there for 23 years. Why? Because of vandalism. It got to 85% completion. The entire line was vandalized.
Wow.
The entire line was vandalized. TCN almost every year puts it back to the budget. And once it gets to a maximum percentage level,
they still done
vandalization. You talk about Maya or Hafia, the same issue. You talk about even this Ajokuta line, vandalism. So you see the amount of money we could have used, huge amount of money we could have used to provide power to undeveloped, underserved areas.
Yeah.
Those amount of money you now use to replacing these falling cables,
almost like an annual festival.
Yeah.
Keep replacing.
So it's a huge masquerade in the Nigerian electricity supply industry.
At the end of the day, the consumers get to pay for this.
Consumers have to pay because when budget could have been used to provide other amenities for them or provide more electricity access for them, the same amount of money
would have been used to replace these things.
Definitely, it's the consumers that are suffering. And some of these things, remember, in tariff making, the more the power, the less the tariff. And the more electricity access we have, the more power availability is made. So it means that the tariff cannot go down.
Okay.
If you keep on vandalizing this tower, because no power will be delivered to the end users. So the more, because it's called the willing capacity of a nation. The more transmission towers we have at the 330, at the 132,
the more power. Because I hear things like, the generating capacity is 16,000 megawatts, but we're only able to evacuate 4,000 or 5,000 of it, which means there are lines
that are not complete
that could have done the job.
Exactly. That's just the major issue.
So that leads me to tell us precisely the exact consequences of this vandalism.
No, the exact consequence of this vandalism is that the nation cannot grow its power availability. We cannot grow our power capacity. We cannot grow our distribution networks because continuous vandalization of the transmission towers, distribution network, meters will continue making us to be going in a cyclic manner. And the worst part of it is that when these things are done, these vandals will end up coming to sell it back to unsuspected consumers, and they will use it to again bring back to the market. So it's a cyclic issue, and it's really
they'll come and steal your cable. You are going to buy the cable back. You still buy your cable that was
I'm telling you, it's a huge masquerade. It's a huge loss to the system.
So what is NERC doing in terms of its regulatory powers or collaborative efforts to work with maybe other agencies and any and everybody else to address this infrastructure, electricity infrastructure vandalism? Because at the end of the day, I'm not sure NERC can do it alone.
Yes, like I mentioned earlier, NERC, we have been collaborating with the Office of the National Security Advisor on this. We are also working with TCN. We're also working with SON.
Okay.
We're also working with other NEMSA and the rest of them. The most important thing that we're trying to achieve now is to gather stakeholders' feedback. Like I told you, from region to region, the cases are different. Some do it for sabotage, some do it for terrorism, some do it for money making. So from region to region, we're trying to gather. And what we are now doing, we call it community-based engagement.
Yeah.
Now we are engaging the traditional rulers. Mm-hmm. We're engaging the president generals of these communities.
Yeah.
We're engaging the youth associations. Now, in the Southwest, the traditional rulers, even the Oni of Ife, sent a representative to the last one we had. Now, some of them say, look, we are going traditional. We can't allow this thing to continue this way.
Sorry to interrupt you. When you were talking about the Umuahia line,
yes,
I was saying, why don't we invoke the gods?
but you know what those communities did? You know what they did?
Yeah,
the generals, typically the Alai community and Umona community, what they did was that they have formed their vigilante group.
Exactly.
They said it during the program.
That's something practical
now,
they can do.
They formed the vigilante group. They went to the forest.
Okay.
They are now trying to comb their forests.
To clear those who could be operating within those places. All right.
Now they also kind of empowered the team, with some necessary guidance to recover these things and bring it to the attention of the traditional rulers. So the traditional rulers on their own during the program also now submitted that in their communities they can have power to protect, but on the highways they may not have power to protect. And that is where the Office of Nations will not come in. So they're now advised that we may have to replicate similar issue that is happening in the oil and gas, where private agencies or security have been engaged.
The pipeline protection.
To protect the highway.
Electricity transmission line protection.
Why they protect their communities, the highways will also be protected. All these things are information we are gathering nationwide. And once we put it up, after the entire thing, we'll now sit down and analyze. In regulation, there are three things we do in regulation. We do governance, we do substance, we do outcomes. Now, what we are now doing is to provide that governance. Now, after these governance are gathered together, we'll gather the substance together. Then we'll now bring out the outcomes. And those outcomes finally leads to what we call either a regulation or an order. Or we can also approach the National Assembly to either enact a bill or whatever that will checkmate this thing to its conclusion.
Talking about bill, orders and so on, existing laws and penalties that exist, are they sufficient to handle this issue? Or you think probably they need beefing up, probably even also have special courts for trying people who are guilty of vandalism of electricity infrastructure? I also do know that the Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps is actually by law, it's their mandate to protect critical national infrastructure.
On point.
How else are they also being empowered and aided in this aspect? Do you think you've talked about more laws, but the current laws, are they doing enough, or they need to be beefed up some more?
Just last month, the commission engaged the judges in a seminar. And we are doing it geopolitical zone to geopolitical zone. Previously, we normally do in Abuja. Now, why are we doing this? We are doing this because we have noticed some lacunas in the arts. Now, the punishment may not be sufficient, and that is why they are deterrents. Now, what we are now trying to do is that once we are engaging the lawmakers, we as regulators too are engaging the stakeholders, and we are also engaging the security agencies. So all these things will come together, and we'll be able to find a way forward on these issues.
All right. So I don't know. Would you mind if one or two persons are able to call?
Why not?
All right. So in case you have a quick question or suggestion on this topic, feel very free to drop us a message or call 0704-800-1055 0911-112-1055 0911-222-1055. Engineer Dr. Jonathan Okoronkwo is here, and he can give some redress to the issues that you are talking about. Of course, we're talking about the effects of vandalism in the Nigerian electricity supply industry, which is a very serious issue that is affecting electricity supply in the country. But beyond what communities can do together, presidents, general, community leaders, faith leaders, individuals, what can we do? Because sometimes people don't understand that certain things they see on their streets, in their neighborhoods, that they take for granted, actually are electricity installations. That transformer, that the cable that runs whether underground or overhead, at small individual levels, what can we do? And are there reporting lines that we can use? I do remember when NCC, National Nigerian Communications Commission, came here, they also had contacts that you could use to alert authorities in case there are any acts of vandalism or service disruptions. I don't know if also the NERC has such reporting mechanisms available.
Yes, of course. The first thing to do is at the distribution level, each substation, we have advised all distribution companies to put a number on it, both in English and their local languages. Now, if you go to most of the distribution companies nationwide, they are being ring-fenced and a number will be dropped on it. So if you see something, you just call them and give them that information. Okay. Now, at the transmission level too, these towers are being hooked on with what we call the Internet of Things, IoTs. So once anyone is tampered with, there is a signal at the control room at NCC Osogbo. So automatically the information will be gotten there. But at the commission level, yes, we also have contact numbers. Most of our forum offices are still active. In Abuja here, they're still active. But before the end of the program, those numbers will be read out.
All right.
Thank you.
So, but within our communities, what are those little things we can do as individuals to make sure that we maintain the very best of vigilance?
Yes. At the community levels, all we need to do is to checkmate the pantakers, these bambaluas. Bambambula, yes. Thank you for correcting me. So you just have to checkmate them, because from what the evidence we are gathering nationwide means that these are the leg they normally use to gather these things when they are pulled down. They may not be the people that put them down, but they may be the people that will gather them to bring them to the partakers or to the markets, and also watch the people that are selling their condemned irons. That's what they normally call it. So because those are their routes they normally use to gather these things. And if such things are noticed, then civil defense can be contacted immediately, because that is part of their mandate. All
right. Somebody sent me a message on WhatsApp. Nameka is asking, what's the penalty for vandalism? I don't know if you know that. This might not be your purview.
No. It's in the act. There are penalties, and there are 6 months imprisonment, depending, 12 years imprisonment, depending on the size or whatever the person have done.
The magnitude of the
damage. So, but precisely, there's no specific law yet that has specified that this is the amount, and that is why we're engaging the judges now. We're engaging them so that all of us will have the same voice and same understanding of the magnitude of this problem.
So maybe an act should be enacted which would also spell out, just focus specifically on vandalism of electricity installations, and spell out what kind of damage amounts to what, and then provide necessarily stiff penalties for them.
Yeah, if it gets to that level at the end of this program we are carrying out, then that will be the target. We'll be able to achieve that.
All right. So before you leave the studio, we have about a minute to go.
Thank you.
Give us your last call out, your call to action to the people this morning on this issue of vandalism of the Nigerian electricity supply industry.
Okay, I will just have to let Nigerians know that this has cost the Nigerian electricity supply industry huge amount of billions of naira. In 2023 alone, we lost almost 4 billion. In 2024, naira, yeah. In 2024, it keep on increasing. And because we normally calculate the financial losses, and the financial losses is not just by the towers, there are losses by the power that have been, the power that will be stranded. The funny thing is that if there are 5 feeders radiating from a substation and 2 are being vandalized, the power that have been deposited in that power station will be stranded.
Yeah, it won't. So you can't evacuate it.
You can't evacuate it, and that is a huge issue.
Loss.
It's a huge loss. So, and that is why and power cannot be stored as of now. So it's a huge loss to the nation. So all we are appealing to the populace is, please, once you see any act of vandalism, because it's a deliberate act, don't just pass by. Report it immediately and let the police, the civil defense, please allow them immediately, and it will be taken care of.
And not also counting the losses that are being suffered by the end users, the manufacturers, the factories, the businesses, the individuals.
It's huge.
Who would have
those losses are huge. Those losses are huge.
All right, thank you so much, Engineer Dr. Jonathan Okoronkwo. Engineer Okoronkwo is the head health, safety and environment at the Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission, NERC. He's been here to educate us on issues around the effects of vandalism in the Nigerian electricity supply industry. Thank you once again, Engineer Okoronkwo, for coming.
Thank you, Mr. Maddox, for having me. Thank you.
And that's why we wrap it up this morning. Do come back again tomorrow for even more on The People's Breakfast. Till then, keep it locked on your favorite station, The People's 105.5 FM Abuja. Enjoy the rest of your day and have a fantastic week ahead. Good morning.